If you're not devoting time every week to improve your sales skills, it's costing you huge. Abraham Lincoln famously said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend 4 sharpening the axe." So the question is, what are you doing to sharpen your axe? Today you're going to learn my 5 favorite sales books of all time. These 5 books I read at the beginning of my sales career before I went on to bring in over $20 million of new business for my clients. If that sounds interesting, let's get into it. Alright, first off, we got The Greatest Salesman in the World by Mr. Og Mandino, the OG of OG sales trainers, or at least one of them. Essentially, this book is a self-help book. It's a fictional story of a guy named Hafid. It takes place in the Middle East hundreds of years ago. He basically finds ancient scrolls, the secrets of being the greatest salesman in the world, which he then learns and masters his craft, things like this. But essentially what it comes down to is it's a discipline training for salesmen. You basically read short chapters every day, which are called scrolls in the book. Each chapter takes like 5 minutes to read, and you read one chapter for 30 days. And I believe that there's 10 scrolls in the book or something like this, so it essentially takes a year to read this entire 80-page book. But basically what it does is, if you're familiar with affirmations, essentially what they are is they are sales affirmations, which you read every day, and if you know the science behind it, it takes a reasonable amount of time for a new affirmation to enter your brain. It actually takes more than 30 days, I believe. I think I've always heard it takes like a month and a half or something like this. But essentially the point is you read these every day, they enter your mind, how to be disciplined, how to be consistent, how to do this, how to do that, right? And these are the base skills for becoming an excellent salesman. I also would suggest buying the physical copy of this, essentially because it's a really small book, and you end up having to carry it around with you if you actually follow the scroll tactic, which I did. So I definitely suggest doing it. It only takes 5 minutes a day. Add it to your morning ritual, whatever you do. Definitely worth your time. Next, we got Fanatical Prospecting by Jed Blount. This book is fire for prospecting. Essentially, it's my favorite book on prospecting. It shares a lot of my opinions on prospecting, a lot of things I just picked up on the job, including on relying heavily on phone prospecting and the importance of phone prospecting. Even today, I'm filming this in 2024, and guess what? Phone prospecting is still the fastest way to generate leads. I highly recommend this one for any beginner getting into sales. Essentially, anyone who's struggling to keep their pipelines full. My favorite tip from this book that I was able to implement instantly into my process is the importance of blocking off uninterrupted time for sales prospecting, for prospecting new leads. The importance of doing this, how to handle it, the rule of 90 days, essentially why there's a lag between your prospecting to when you start to get sales, and so the importance to always keep prospecting, the way to do that, which essentially comes to setting golden hours, 1-hour blocks to where all you do is prospect. And if you do that, I guarantee you in a month, your pipelines will be full, your sales will skyrocket. It just comes down to the discipline, and this book gives you the steps on how to do that. Hey guys, if you get a lot of value out of these videos, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. It really helps me out, really helps the channel. Thank you very much. Next, we got Pitch Anything from Oren Klaff. Oren Klaff is a badass. All you need to know. Basically, this is a guide on how to present, persuade, and win over any audience using the author's unique methods, which he learned from pitching super high value, high stakes deals. And one of the things I really like about this is that it combines basically neuroscience with psychology with real world examples to basically demonstrate how to structure pitches to where they have the most effect and actually enter into someone's brain so they actually accept your ideas. The big takeaway I had from this book was the idea of what's referred to as the croc brain, as he refers to it, which essentially is the deepest part of your brain, kind of the base, the back of your head, the part that actually developed first many thousands of years ago, what have you, probably millions of years ago, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, right? Basically the idea that most ideas enter the croc brain, basically habit, right? Which is why if you do phone prospecting, for instance, you get a call, hey, is it Jake from like, not interested. They haven't even heard or processed anything. Their brain, actually, their frontal cortex hasn't thought about what you're saying. It's the croc brain, it's the habit, and brain is designed that way to save energy. Energy is a precious commodity, especially back in the day, where we had to hunt everything with spears or whatever. You would save that energy as much as you can, so that's why we are hardwired to save energy. This gives you the methods to bypass that and actually get the active brain thinking so they can start to digest what you're saying. Great book. Next we've got Never Split the Difference from Chris Voss. This book has exploded in the last few years, and I totally see why. Essentially, it's by Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator. He essentially talks about how he used to handle these very high-stake negotiations that he learned after years of years on the field, negotiating with bank robbers, kidnappings, all that good stuff. It's actually just a really fun read just in general, but it is full of actionable nuggets you can use while you're on the phone. It talks a lot about the importance of empathy, active listening, psychological strategies, basically to gain rapport, gain the upper hand, what have you, when you're negotiating with people without actually compromising. He gives you a lot of real-world things that are quick and easy to use, and you can actually implement them right away. The thing that I actually use the most, I would say, from this book is he gives the best, highest responding email subject line that I've ever used, which is essentially when someone has been ghosting you, you've been emailing them for weeks and weeks. It's the Hail Mary email message that you send, which is in the subject line, "Have you given up on us working together?" I don't know why that works so well, but it works super good, and I use it all the time. That's one of many things this book gives you. It's worth checking out. All right, next we got Flip the Script from Oren Klaff. Oren's a badass when 2 of the 5 books are by him. What I like about this one is it actually builds upon what you learn from Pitch Anything. I would suggest you to read Pitch Anything first and then go to Flip the Script. What I like about Flip the Script is it actually gives you more actionable techniques compared to Pitch Anything. My 2 favorites of all time are the status tip-off. Essentially, it's a way to align yourself with whoever you're talking to, your prospect. If you're finding that you're getting bulldozed a lot, people aren't taking you seriously, they're cutting you off, they're just not believing what you're saying, you're probably not aligned with the status. This gives you a good technique on how to get over that. Also a great takeaway, the flash roll. What is the flash roll? Well, how about I just show you? Okay, many of you are going to know this movie. Here's the famous scene from My Cousin Vinny.
Can you tell me, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a 4-barrel carburetor?
It's a bullshit question.
Does that mean that you can't answer it?
It's a bullshit question. It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
Your Honor, I move to disqualify Ms. Vito as an expert witness.
Can you answer the question?
No, it is a trick question.
Why is it a trick question?
Watch this.
Because Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center.
Well, she's acceptable, Your Honor.
Classic. So as you might have figured out, the flash roll was when she was delivering that information regarding the different car parts, the years, things like that. That's a flash roll. It's essentially a dialogue given very quickly, succinctly, when you speak at a faster pace than normal, delivered in under 60 seconds to essentially establish yourself as an authority. How to do that, how to write them, how to use them on your pitches. Absolute gold. The newest addition to the list, Mr. Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi is the man. He is blown up in the last few years, and after reading this book, I knew exactly why. It is the best book I've ever read on basically how to structure your offer, how to actually structure your pitch to make it sound really, really good. It's not a sales book per se, but it's really good if you're actually doing the pitch writing. You're actually the one who's designing your offers, how to explain it to the clients. It explains different psychological factors, how to make your offer not just sound compelling, how to actually make it compelling, right? So they actually want to do it, and you actually have some skin in the game, which is a perfect win-win. Definitely recommend. Hey guys, that's it for today. I hope you got some value out of it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so right now. If you have any questions, anything wasn't clear, anything you want to see more of, drop a comment. Let me know. I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you are a business owner who's struggling to make sales due to an underperforming sales process, book a call with me and I'll get you back on track. All right, that's it. Thanks.